Hey kids, Mr. Matt here again, up for episode number 9. Alright, are you excited? I'm excited because we've got our last episode of messages before we get the answer to all the questions and the one that we've been waiting for and anticipating. So excited. But we have to remember, now where were we? Okay, this is our messenger last time, right? Jonah, right? Out of the fish, came up, shared how God was caring about the other people that were far, far, far from him, and how he still loved them and wanted them to turn back to him. Yeah, that Jonah guy. Remember at the end of that story, it talked about there's one to come, a person that's going to sum up all the messages that God wants to tell people. It's all going to be answered in one person. He's kind of like the biggest envelope for all the messages. It's the person that's to come. He's called the Word. Well, we got one more messenger that has one more message for us. And what's going to be tough about this message is it's a message that's going to make people sad. What? God's going to send a message that's going to make people sad? Well, what about a message that's going to make people sad? Well, I want you to know that oftentimes when a message makes someone sad, it's because there's no hope. So we're going to have to see God give a message that's going to make some people sad. Let's see if he has any hope for them on the other end. All right, remember our song? Jesus Storybook Bible. The Bible is a story about Jesus. Jesus Storybook Bible. The Bible is a story about God. All right. Today's story is called Get Ready. No, actually, it's called Get Ready. God's people return from being slaves. From Nehemiah 8 through 10, Malachi 1, 3 and 4, and Ezra 7. Have you ever been to a party that lasted a whole week? What? A whole week? Have you ever been to a birthday party that was a week long? Neither have I. A wedding party that was a week long? Neither have I. These guys apparently had a party that lasted a whole week. Wow. How about a sermon that went on all day? Someone had a sermon that went all day? That's a really long sermon. Really long sermon. I've never been to a sermon that went all day. Well, that's what happens to God's people after they came home from being slaves again. They keep ending up being slaves, but thanks be to God that he continues to rescue his people. They had forgotten how God wanted them to live, or who they were supposed to be. So Ezra and Nehemiah read the rules God had given Moses. But something odd happened. The more the sermon went on, the sadder they all got. Why? Was the sermon that boring? No, not really. It was strange, you see. As Ezra read the book of rules, it worked like a mirror. It showed them what they were like, and they didn't like what they saw. They saw that they had not been living the way they should. They saw that they were cruel and selfish. We've blown it, they cried. Now God will punish us. They thought they knew what God was going to do, but they didn't. Of course, they might have picked up a clue from Ezra's name, which means help is here, and an even stronger one from Nehemiah's name, because Nehemiah's name means God wipes away our tears. And that, as you'll see, is exactly what God is getting ready to do. Ezra looked at God's children. Great hot tears were welling up in their cheeks, streaming down the cheeks. He stopped his sermon mid-sentence and shut the book. We're having a party, he shouted. And so that's just what they did all week long. God wants us to be happy, Ezra said. All day they listened to stories about the wonderful things God had done for his people, how he had made the world, how he gave a special promise to Abraham, how he rescued them from slavery in Egypt, how he spoke to Moses and showed how to live, how he brought them to a special land, how he rescued them no matter what. And time after time, over and over again, because of his never stopping, never giving up, unbreakable, always and forever love. They remembered how God had always, all through the years, been loving his children, keeping his promise to Abraham, taking care of them, forgiving them, even when they disobeyed, even when they ran away from him, even when they thought they didn't need him. Then God told his children something more. I can't stop loving you. You are my heart's treasure, but I lost you. Now I'm coming back for you. I'm like the sun that gently shines on you, chasing away the darkness and fear and death. You'll be so happy. You'll be like little calves running free in an open field. I'm going to send my messenger, the promised one, the one you have been waiting for, the rescuer. He is coming, so get ready. It had taken centuries for God's people to be ready. But now the time had almost come for the best part of God's plan. God himself was going to come, not to punish his people, but to rescue them. God was getting ready to wipe away every tear from every eye. And the true party was about to begin. What a message. You see, the hope that God would fix this problem, these people who were broken and selfish, was reminding them of how God had been faithful over and over to the people before them, to their parents and grandparents and great-grandparents who had been just as selfish as they were. And that gave them hope. And it was that hope that they could celebrate with a week-long party. All right. And so that good news, that rescuer that's to come, the one that's going to fulfill that hope, make that hope real, he's coming soon. And we're going to look forward to hearing about his coming on the next episode from the Jesus Storybook Bible. I'll catch you guys later. God bless.